what we're talking about for the Deliveroo Experience is, the fact that everyone's getting conscripted to work for Deliveroo.
Oh.
I don't know if you've seen this. This is a lovely British
Look
account.
at me. I am the Deliveroo driver now.
Doing my part.
If you find one of these bags, it's like finding King Arthur's sword in the pond. You've been chosen. You must now be conscripted and go out and deliver on bikes. And Deliveroo is kind of shit. People who don't know what it is, it's a delivery service, right? So it's a company that organizes delivery of food from restaurant to you. Except, of course, it's not Mario on his moped or Steve in his Volkswagen.
Yeah.
It's instead Jamal on his bike, which...
On his stolen bike?
Maybe, who can tell?
I can tell. Jamal didn't buy that rusty old thing.
Crime map of Swindon?
Sorry, I know.
Sorry for the interruption. I'm Father Calvin Robinson, and you can watch my Common Sense Crusade at 3 p.m. on Thursdays only on lotuseaters.com, where you can sign up for as little as £5 per month. Deus Vult.
But there's just the fact that that's bad, just on the face of it. Like, replacing motor engine for getting food to you with man on bike means food is cold, which means delivering of food didn't go well, if nothing else. There's also a lot of accusations of them stealing the food.
Oh, really?
So this is a fella here who has got himself a moped. He's just eating the food there, which might be judgmental. Maybe he purchased that food. But then there is also video evidence of them actually stealing food. So this is someone's like Ring doorbell or something here, in which fella turns up. Just turn off the birds. They're lovely. Gets the food out, shoves it on the ground. And he's like, there you are. Takes a picture of it as evidence that he has delivered your takeaway. Don't worry, he's doing his job.
Oh, this is big brain.
And then what you do is you take the takeaway, put it back in the bag, and leave with it. Take it home. It's yours now.
There's like 100% tax on food.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love the idea that he's like,
this guy's got it worked out, to be honest.
I was paid to
gaming the system.
I was paid to deliver the food.
Yeah.
I've done that part. Now I'm a free agent.
Take a photo of the food at the doorstep to show that it's arrived. I have done that.
I love the fact that he's not running.
Yeah.
He's just leaving the scene like a gentleman. Huge explosions behind. He's just walking.
He doesn't want to, spill the food or anything. He wants to take care of it. So there's that.
This isn't his first time.
But
this isn't the first time he's done this. He does this all the time.
There's a lot of criticisms of Deliveroo, is all I'm getting at. It's a service which is meant to be, well, through your phone, a universal service for the whole country that people can get their food delivered. And the idea on paper sounds and then in practice,
Yeah.
Not great. But then I found this. This is what inspired all this. Local.
Is that Jeremy Vine?
That's a man named Harry. And this fella, he decided he would sign up for Deliveroo and get the experience.
Oh, yeah.
Firsthand. And keep in mind, he's actually done this before. He did this for a different service like this back in the day, and we'll get to that at the very end. But this whole story of what it's like to be on the Deliveroo Experience is bad. It's very bad.
Wow.
You're not going to talk about the lived experience of being a Deliveroo driver.
But
I am indeed.
This really underpins the complaints about illegal immigrant labor, doesn't it? They're prepared to work for literally half of what a normal person is legally mandated to work for.
So here's what he writes here. This guy spent a few weeks as a Deliveroo driver. First up, Deliveroo likes to claim that you should earn at least the minimum wage, which is £11.44 per hour. He worked 22 hours and 50 minutes, rode 105 miles, did 27 drop-offs and earned 120 quid. So he works out at £5.28 an hour. So, your wages are not good if you're working like this guy. You end up with half, even worse than half, I think, actually, of the minimum mandated wage by the state.
It's also a gym, though.
Oh, yeah.
Exercising.
Yeah.
You just imagine riding 105 miles. You stay in shape.
Yeah. Just think the good it does for his heart.
That is the positive. Like, if you want to go for a bike ride, you might as well sign up and get some money as well. But here we go. So here's the story. So he says in here, I spent one evening shift delivering to city law firms, Bank of America, McKinsey, etc. The sheer volume of meals delivered to these workers is amazing. That trolley outside McKinsey went from being empty to 16 orders within 10 minutes. Bank of America has a special holding pen for riders. Now, the UK economy really is just finance.
Yeah.
London Central Finance is the whole thing that we do anymore. That's, I don't know as a measure of the economy, but it's the big thing we do, nothing else. So I do get a sense that when you look at central London, the bankers particularly, you actually get a sense of where the priorities of the state are. Like, why are things going the way they're going? And this is interesting because why is it that they're so overwhelmed with deliveries in the central area? that that's their mode of getting food anymore.
This is a way that people in America are able to track whether political action is actually happening in the US or not by how busy the pizza places are in Washington, D.C.
It's certainly a revealing preference.
Mm.
And it seems to be the case with Central London as well. So here they say, I also delivered a lot of at dish room meals. Now, I don't know what dish room is because I don't live in London.
Dishoom.
No, dish room, sorry.
Yeah.
Why does everything sound French? A dish room. The experience.
It's a
Or
curry.
dishoom.
So they're saying here, if you think your curry comes from a restaurant, nope. It's likely from a dark kitchen down an alley in a Stepney or behind Penton Valley Prison. So that's where you're getting that. Because,
Right.
of course, if we don't actually have to operate a restaurant,
Yeah.
we just do deliveries. And we don't have to, well, be inspected by customers.
Sure.
So
Distribution of labor.
there's that situation.
Outsourcing each of the ingredient.
But he points out beneath it that, to give credit, the kitchens are clean.
Well, some of them.
Well, okay.
So he says here, to give credit, Deliveroo Edition kitchens were clean, so the ones with the brand on it, provided a toilet for riders and drinking water. Rival dark kitchens we visited were not so sparkling, and there's an image of them. Well, we'll find out where that is later. Can you guess what part of London that might be? Is it the more diverse or the less diverse area?
I'm not sure I'm allowed to say.
Well, then mind then. so this is him making the point here. I delivered to a lot of Park Lane apartments, Bloomsbury flats with swanky concierge.
Yep.
God, I'm not part of that world. 7th floor council flats as well. Bankers' Mayfair residents didn't tip once. People in council flats were the ones who did. Which is an interesting revealed preference as well there.
Yeah.
Because, of course, as I mentioned, a lot of the money, or at least a huge amount of it that the UK makes by laundering other people's dirty money, is made in central London. And those are the people overwhelmingly using Deliveroo to a ridiculous extent that they have to have their own waiting areas for them now.
The super rich who don't tip.
Yeah.
I don't tip, but I'm not super rich.
I mean, I'm not a fan of tipping culture in general.
No, I'm not, but
Kind of hate the Americans.
I don't think they're abstaining on moral grounds.
No. But I also love the idea that if they were, that's just, I mean, no, this is just like complete copium on my part. The idea that the bankers are all like, I'm not tipping the migrant workers, so they're just be encouraging more of them. But it doesn't make sense because you're using them for one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want that, don't use the service. So he writes at the end here, just as a point. Why is the pay so terrible, apart from the lack of tips? Well, Deliveroo's at least minimum wage claim is while you're on the job. It doesn't take into account waiting for orders. And in simple terms, there's too many riders.
Oh my God. Immigration is destroying the Deliveroo economy.
Actually has.
Deliveroo has fallen.
Deliveroo has actually fallen. Just Eat, Uber Eats, all the piece of S delivery services. They replaced John and his car with Jamal and his bike. And the problem being there's too many riders. There's just too many people signing up for the service to do it, which is weird considering the pay's so bad.
That's a problem for the people, not the Deliveroo, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that's a problem for society as well.
Yeah.
Why is it that the job of delivery boy has now become a situation where you will get paid half the minimum wage?
Hugely desirable job of delivery boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also mentions in here that you can get paid extra if you work at 3 a.m. just to put off people who are like, well, you can earn more if you do such and such. And it's like, yes, but it never was this way. Even for Deliveroo, it wasn't this way a few years ago, in fact. And that's just a great example of the Deliveroo economy falling down the tube, which, all right, I mean, I mean, Deliveroo has been known as a bit of a meme at this point for, illegal migrant workers for some time. And even they are feeling the pinch of illegal immigration, the illegal migrants. Will someone please think of them and their employment status? If no one else in the Home Office, please. Because we've been over this before. I mean, this is something we see in Swindon, in which there's a hotel, only houses illegal immigrants, and yet somehow they're all working for Uber Eats, Just Eats, and Deliveroo. Right. Okay. So what's happened there? Well, there's increased competition on the lowest paid workers in society by bringing in mass numbers of immigrants and also illegal immigrants, people who are willing to work for less than the minimum. And we'll do things like this.
Yeah.
Because why would you not? You're literally at the bottom rung, and you're now competing with the bottom rung of the native population of workers, but there's no protectionism on their livelihood. Instead, there is massive incentives for more of you to come, which then pushes down the price lower and lower, which might be great for people ordering delivery. You could argue. You could argue it's great for Deliveroo. Their profits are ridiculous.
Sure.
Apparently their revenue is 700 million,
Jesus.
profit 600 million.
Jesus.
That is beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah.
That is hyper capitalism right there. Good job, lads. But at the same time, bad job, lads, because you're employing illegal immigrants. That's not legal. All the right. There's a good reason why it's illegal, because it pushes down wages of the natives, which, funnily enough, we're kind of for pushing those up.
I mean, one might also point out that it seems exploitative. You're taking illegals and you're paying them half of minimum wage.
Yeah, I care less about the illegals.
Yeah, I'm not saying I care about them, but like,
But you could make that sort of argument.
the whole thing is rotten from top to bottom, right?
Yeah, I mean, no one in this cycle is actually doing much better off, although
No.
might be doing marginally better off than being in Afghanistan, but I would argue actually, nah, it's better. Trust me. But the situation of this guy, this whole experience he actually wrote for the Daily Mail about this.
Oh, yeah.
And what's amazing is that the revealed situation, because he doesn't want to mention it, presumably, or he would have thought, is that obviously, yeah, the illegal immigration is now even killing the illegal immigrant economy, which I'm still in awe that can happen.
Yeah, I didn't
Apparently
realize
so.
such a thing was possible.
It can get bad for even them. Because as I mentioned, the problem being too many drivers.
Yeah.
Too much demand. And we do know that a lot of them are illegal, because we just see it in our day-to-day lives, and also, well, he'll mention why, I suppose. He says here, all you need is a smartphone, my own bicycle or moped, and the right to work in the UK. How do you prove that? Well, I have to upload my passport, my national insurance number, and watch a short 5-minute training video on how to do his job, including asking customers for ID if they've ordered alcohol. Now, of course, that doesn't work. You might think on paper that makes sense. Like, you ask for a passport and a national insurance number, only a citizen would have those things, or someone who has a right to work in the UK would have those things. No, they just make fake ones.
Oh, really?
Funnily enough, criminals don't care and will break these laws. So if you just don't bring in those people who can benefit from that sort of fraud, you wouldn't have this problem. But we do. So we have the problem. So there we are. So he says, many city firms have business accounts with Deliveroo, giving their staff allowances to spend on the app rather than offering in-house canteens. Not a single one of the well-paid consultants, bankers, or lawyers ever tipped me.
Well, why would they? It's not their money.
What do you mean?
Well, it's the company money, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
If you're paying through the app.
Suppose so, but I mean, even then, I mean...
Yeah, but if they're paying through the app, maybe they don't have the option of doing it.
But that's a good revealed situation as to why the city has become so reliant on this. Why are they so obsessed with using the service, even though it's evil, in my opinion? Well, the city firms just don't want to offer food anymore. Just why would you? It's cheaper to give everyone to do this. I mean, it's worse.
It's cheaper to use the imported slave class, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we're making a worse society, but I suppose it is cheaper. Cool. But here's on to the Islamic situation.
Oh, yeah.
I'll spoil it. Because you remember that kitchen from earlier, the dark kitchen?
Yeah.
I told you to guess. So he says, Friday lunchtime, the rider map suggests swaths of London are not busy. So when you download, you get like hexagons. And you go to different hexagons. And in those hexagons, it's either busy or not busy. And if it's busy, you're more likely to get service, right?
Right.
So he says his hexagon is not busy. But there are 2 hexagon shaded very busy. So I ride over to Stepney in East London and see some other riders going down an alley. Off the Mile End Road, past the Islamic bookshop, I follow them. So you've got to go down your dark alleys, round to the Islamic area, all right. They turn into a scruffy courtyard with 3 light industrial units and a gaggle of cyclists and moped riders waiting outside one labelled Deliveroo Editions. This is where you're getting your food from.
Right.
You think,
I'm not. Bloody hell.
yeah, but this is where these people are getting their food from.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. You watch Kitchen Nightmares?
Yeah.
No.
All right, well, in Kitchen Nightmares, for people who haven't watched it, quite often you'll see the restaurant. Gordon will walk in, eat the food. And
I have seen this.
food's always bad.
Yeah.
Because it's Gordon.
And he yells at them.
Yes. But what I love, the best bit, is when he goes into the fridges and then discovers, like, just moldy, rotten food that they're serving, or even just got in there, raw meat next to cooked meat or whatever.
Yeah.
And you remember, there's a reason there are good restaurants and bad restaurants, and it's important to always go to the good ones, because not only is it just the quality of the food, it's the kitchen. The practices in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, there's an Italian place that just does pizza nearby that we recently started going to. And the reason I love it is because you go in there and you see all the ingredients all labeled, dates, separated, meats in the right places, and then you see them make it in front of you. And you
Really,
know
it's not like
clean.
Kenya Butchers that got shut down then.
Funnily enough, there's no rat feces
Right. Okay.
or cockroaches. Strange that. But when you're ordering on an app, I mean, this is another reason why I just think it's probably best to always just go and pick up your food.
Yeah, you
Never
can't
get it
see
delivered.
any of that.
Yeah. I mean, this guy mentions you're going down the scruffy courtyard. There's an industrial estate. There's just hordes of guys on bikes and then these kitchens. You know what's going on in these kitchens?
No.
The best of practices, I'm sure. But he says they're a dark kitchen. That's what they're called.
Seems racist.
If you think you're ordering from your local high street restaurant, you're not. The chances are that your food is being made in one of the dark kitchens. Deliveroo has 14 in London, each making food for multiple restaurants. So if you're ordering different types of food, you're getting them from the same kitchen. Now, there's a reason you specialize in different types of food. So you go to an Italian restaurant,
Yeah,
you get
but-
just Italian food.
These are extraneous costs, Callum. If we just have it all in one giant kitchen,
If the
vats of slop being made by illegal immigrants, I mean, that's really cheap.
It is indeed.
You're
A
not
way of
thinking about
doing
this
it.
at all.
It's just a bad way of doing it. So he says here,
Not for the business owners, £600 million a year profit.
so the Stepney one he goes into is cooking for Dishoom, the upscale Indian restaurant. So it's got noodles, Tao Tao Ju, a Chinese, Remedy Kitchen, which specializes in soups and salads, Ha A Tortise, never heard of it, a Japanese sushi brand, and WA Cafe, a Japanese patisserie shop, among others. All of those are the same kitchen.
I love that this is like industrial food production under the guise of it being, like exclusive, high quality, branded restaurants. Like there's something about this that I find hilarious because I don't eat any of it.
It is it's almost Soylent Green levels of I don't trust you.
Yeah.
You're making Japanese food, sushi, Jesus. You're making Chinese food, Indian food, and then like Panera soups and salads, all in the same place alongside a patisserie.
I don't trust places that make everything or
No.
say
Well,
they do. Yeah.
But they literally can't do it effectively. That's
Yeah.
why you specialize.
Yeah.
Sure,
But also eating outside, generally speaking, isn't that healthy as eating inside. So start cooking your own food.
But if you are going to eat out, go somewhere where you can see it's all dated, if nothing else.
Well,
Fasting is
just
an
go
option.
to a decent place. But I don't know. There's something about this that really amuses me. Where it's like you've got the fakery of the brand on the outside, but then when you look behind the curtain, it's just the industrial slop production, and it's just eat your slop and overpay for it, and it's like I'm not sympathetic at all. I find it really amusing.
Yeah, it's like what we were saying with products that
Yeah.
each different part of the product is made on different factories in different kitchens of the world.
Yeah,
that's the same.
This is not artisanal food.
I mean, if we can get this back on screen, just to show people, just keep in mind, like, imagine you walk into a single kitchen and they're making sushi and Indian. I mean, that's just not a combination. It's not anything you ever want to read
But
being
no,
made
no,
in the same place.
The best bit about this is it totally undermines the argument for multiculturalism that goes along the lines of, yes, but think of the restaurants, Callum. Right?
Yes, I've seen the bloody restaurants.
Exactly. That's the point. Like, yeah, well, we need Indians here to make Indian food. We need, and it's like, no, actually, you can have an undifferentiated mass of foreigners illegally come here and make the slop that you eat, and we'll just put the nice label on it, so you think you're ordering that thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just it's nonsense.
So a mere 50 yards away, he says, from that slop kitchen, which is making everything under the sun, down in an adjacent valley, there is a larger site run by a company called Ghost Kitchens. That just fills you with confidence.
Yeah.
Okay, that's bad branding.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
He had to collect a burger from. To collect the food, riders have to walk down various corridors, past piles of food tins, bottles, cooking oil, empty boxes, and then by the time I visited, bins full of rubbish on the floor. I had to chat with a fellow rider, Amin, from Morocco. Of course it was.
Delivering Chinese food.
Yeah. As we wait for orders outside the dark kitchen. His English is good, unusual for a Deliveroo driver, says Harry here.
Yeah.
He's out doing it. That's the bit I love. That's the bit, because he doesn't mention it at any point, but obviously it's so bloody true. This is such an illegal run place. It is such a foreign run thing. The whole concept.
He's the only Englishman in it.
Yeah.
Why would they need to learn English?
I bet he stood out like a sore thumb.
I bet he did.
There's just like, they're all talking in Arabic, and like, there's a white guy over there. He's English. He's not even, I don't know, Russian.
He's got the Deliveroo bag.
Do you think he's an undercover journalist? Yes, he was. But he ends this off with 8 years ago, a mere 8 years ago. So what would that have been? That would have been, what, 2016?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2016, when Deliveroo was just starting to become a household name, I undertook a similar exercise. I earned £11.20 an hour in 2016 money. Back then, I thought the pay wasn't bad, but it was a myth that you were a free agent. You had to work certain hours and shifts. Since then, the freedom has increased, partly because Deliveroo has been forced to prove through a series of court cases that the workers are actually contractors, not employees, meaning that they don't have the rights of an employee. But the pay has also fallen dramatically in that time period. Now, I'll be honest, I think the pay going down so much, as he puts it, the reason being there's too many drivers, might not be because of the court battles. Court battles will have an effect. I think the number one thing that may have halved your pay, and that's just in pounds, never mind the real term. I mean, what is the real term? I should have done that, actually, thrown it through the inflation calculator. John, I wonder if you can load up the inflation calculator just on another tab and just put in 2016, £11.20 to see what he would have been getting paid today if it was the same. So go to that one. So £11.20, 2016, if you can do that, John. Thank you. But that massive amount of drop has to be from the massive supply of low-skilled labor by immigration.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other thing that would destroy it that much.
So losing £5.
John's just done it. It would have been £16 an hour today if he was getting paid the same, and instead they're getting paid £5. So their pay is now more than a third of what it would have been in 2016 to do the same job. I'll be honest, I don't think that's just court battles. I think that has to be the illegal immigration doing it en masse. So there we are. Wages have been driven through the absolute floor because now even the third world is competing with the third world. And quality of delivery has gone through the floor as well.
Deliveroo against illegal immigration.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when they're going to unionize their anti-immigrant union, but...
Can you have a union of illegal immigrants working illegally in the underground economy? I don't know.
Well, we will see in the coming year, I suppose. But there we are. Deliveries are worse. People are worse off in terms of wages as well. Fantastic. Great trend. Thank you, Deliveroo. If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Epoch series, this episode on the Medici family. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.